Well, welcome back, everyone. Relic joined by Danny. Boy, and these players, I mean, look, after the players were like, we'll take 10 minutes or so, now they're ready and raring to go. We're into our grand final and up against the Lorry boys that we covered just a minute or so ago. We have the Mediterranean boys featuring one SAIZEN, who's looking to get back from a very tough half season, and he's already helped in the setup here. REZEARS with a goal within 20 seconds.
And I just have to look at one touch to move it across and whipped into the bottom right. This is the Rendez-Vous, the grand final, rightly so, Relic. And Joe, what is the tip of the iceberg of this all season? Because we were just literally talking how their feet up at the coffee table and quite literally said, Joe, what? There's a few players that might be looking at their career. LUIISP has one and likes to keep his.
You forget how young some of these players are. LUIISP 19, SAIZEN 18, and there is LUIISP with a beautiful doink back from REZEARS. We were literally talking, weren't we, about REZEARS. He's already got the team that he's going to be setting up with for the next couple of months. Ivan, Nas, it seems to suit him quite well, mechanically sound, excellent in 1v1 scenarios, and you can tell there a goal to his name, an assist already leading from the front.
That's just how good they are, and we may as well briefly talk about SAIZEN. You said it rightly earlier in the green room. I don't want to steal your thunder, Relic.
No,
I'm talking about the wonder kid himself that came around. These are the words that Relic. I'm not smart enough to use these. Spot lost in Vitality, now trying to find, of course, a new home. And Joe what? The problem is, he's got so much choice. Surely people is coming at his door. The real question is REZEARS and LUIISP the team for him? The answer to that is already half no.
Maybe LUIISP would be someone who can look towards the future with, but the property market is incredibly congested, and even the good options might come at a high cost. Certainly the defenses cost the Lorry boys thus far. It's a nice drive from GOMB, but it hits the backboard and there's no real support here. HIBBS start again from the midfield line, handed over to GOMB, looking for that second touch. It's NOAHSAKY going far post. Beautiful team goal, 1-goal game.
Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, that is excellent. Moves it across, gets the spot. GOMB himself, a little bit too far here, but do you know what's brilliant about it? You talk about defence. He forced SAIZEN to jump. It gives that pocket of space into the net, and do you know what? Played well.
And it's clear as day. The comms were singing. The great call-off initially to go central, and then for NOAHSAKY to have the intelligence to go far post. But REZEARS, all he had to do was go central, involved in all three of the goals for his team now.
Just a question of how do you approach the wall. Unfortunately, no, it's just that half a second slower. That's all what it is. And you know what? 4 goals, 2 minutes gone by. We wanted a grand final to remember. Relic, you said this one's definitely going 5. I say this is going 7.
I maybe have... I've maybe given a little bit too much credit here to the Mediterranean boys to clean it up so quickly, but my goodness, they've just got that European star factor. There's always something, especially being half English myself as a football fan. Everybody overhypes the English, but they do have some good players here, and the lorry drivers are at least on the board, which is more than what can be said for their last set of opponents. We've passed half-time now, Danny, and the game seems to have settled down ever so slightly, but again, that's all contextual because the flow is almost like waves. They're crashing into each other, and it's going to take that one boat, that one object in the waters to disrupt them yet again.
Thankfully, it's not sort of drips and drams. We don't want sort of that leaky or plumber's job here where you just might be wondering who's a sort of dodgy cowboy trader here. But speaking for the rest of the European continent here with that half English comment, boo!
That is boo to anyone who wants to see a comeback from the lorry drivers. Hat-trick hero REZEARS all on his own. GOMB doesn't know which way to look. His eyes are crossed and the T's are crossed for REZEARS because, again, a 4th goal goes in and he's at the centre of it.
Certainly so, we may as well dot a few I's as well. HIBBS, who has been on this pitch, has been looking around, has been in final. GOMB's been excellent, of course, in that particular final as well too. The question is, how does NOAH fit into it? How does the development goes into it? We give credence for sides that show that purpose, the panache, the style, the grit. We haven't seen the back end, the final third, really being that sort of potency. That has to develop here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We've seen a couple of shot opportunities. Obviously, they got the 1 goal to their name, LUIISP, but I think about the GOMB shot on the backboard. There was also some passing or some cleanup on aisle 10 suggestions about, but there was only the 1 person up. There was no shadow striker looking to put it away or even challenge. We see them go forward again here, get a demo as well. GOMB, HIBBS, and that is an excellent save. Fantastic positioning from REZEARS, and that follow-up from GOMB is going to close down from SAIZEN.
LUIISP around the back lanes to whip this one downfield. A double commit here. We mentioned briefly about the comms. That's a lack of it, but when you're losing by 3 goals, any margin of that size at this level here, you're pretty much saying, yeah, we're beaten. It's how do you roll the next step? How do you roll with the punches, so to speak? And that's the second one in quick concession. Great save by GOMB. Relic. This one here is going to be a tricky game 2 coming.
It really is. LUIISP could do with at least a second consolation, but that pickpocket over NOAHSAKY is at least going to be saved. LUIISP now forward. They're looking for a 5th more than their opponents are a 2nd. GOMB maybe has a chance here. Got SAIZEN to dispose of, but SAIZEN still does enough. HIBBS with 1 second to go will get the second. The dragon roars, but it roars in vain. Game 1 goes to the Mediterranean boys.
This might be a strange series in its own regards here, and you know what? Arguably, the biggest talking point of this opening game, you can maybe look at REZEARS, but I would be, unfortunately, a bit different here, a bit contrary.
Oh.
I think GOMB is the one we need to be talking more here. I would argue to the court here, effectively here, which is yourself, Relic, at least. GOMB has dragged the lorries drivers into that game at times. Spicely with that air dribble, you talk to the backboard. Spicely at the end there to grab that second goal. Yes, he hasn't been credited by the numbers. The numbers only tell 10% at most. He is that sort of A-list factor that you want into the type of matchups.
It's a very convincing 10%, Danny. Most shots of anybody on the team. 2 saves, which equals the most of anybody on the team. 2 assists, which clears everybody on the team. He was the creative force. He was the box-to-box sort of midfielder style that we know he can be. You know, he had a couple of shot opportunities himself go wide or not hit the mark, but that's when your teammates need to be there to help you look better than that, to help the team. Team game, of course, is Rocket League. We have to remember that. And it just feels like the lorry drivers lacked a bit of confidence in those midfield transitions. Yes, of course, you're opening yourselves up at the back, but you need to in order to get the rewards.
Sometimes you have to make that decision. Is it worthwhile here, as frankly, the shots that we just saw in our opening stages already. It is gone, and this is certainly gone.
Fantastic. What a lovely touch off the wall, first of all. Sets himself up perfectly for the musty flick into the back of the net. Beautifully weighted pass to him. If you can't have someone else do it, you've got to do it yourself, Danny, and case point, close it. GOMB has given them the go-ahead.
It's just, when you're out of the competitive scene so long, you can just admire him, and when you're playing against it, you just have envy. I wonder, does these 3 players have it right now playing against GOMB?
Yeah, maybe they would if they didn't have REZEARS with a pop-off game in game number 1. Here he is again, great interception from HIBBS and NOAHSAKY. The double commit at least does the job. Pop-up from HIBBS, and SAIZEN's way too quick to that. GOMB again, wait. Susses out REZEARS. NOAHSAKY back. SAIZEN. Oh, NOAHSAKY, excellent positioning. Gets the block in. LUIISP now with something to say in this conversation off the SAIZEN. Near post. And what reactions from the man of the hour putting on the cape. Is it Superman?
No. I'm not giving you that because he's English.
Is it Captain
still-
Britain? Does Captain Britain even wear a cape? I don't know.
No, I don't think so, but unless you want to sing Rule Britannia on stream, Relic, feel free.
I wouldn't dare go so far. It's the players that have to convince me, of course, and NOAHSAKY with a definitive demo cuts the attacking numbers by a third. Steal at the 100 on the way out, but going against the demo gets the revenge. Here's the transitional phase now. HIBBS intercepted the demo on SAIZEN. LUIISP looking for REZEARS. GOMB keeps it low to the back four for NOAHSAKY. Lovely facade above SAIZEN. Just got LUIISP to deal with, and he does it! HIBBS puts it home. Excellence.
You just have to sit there and go, do you know what, tip my hat off to the gentleman. The defenders sitting there just dangling their feet above sort of the water boat that is here with the fishing rod and sort of going, have you caught anything? Just embarrassment.
That's exactly the sort of lift-off moment now that starts to convince us a little bit more about the lorry drivers. It was all GOMB, but HIBBS and NOAHSAKY combine to double the lead. It's more than double your money if you make first. So getting these early games in counts. HIBBS, NOAHSAKY, far post again. HIBBS helps it on its way. I'm going to put my teeth in, Danny. Tell us about this goal.
Well, certainly so, as that one was just simply sat there by HIBBS just to tap it on in. LUIISP, you're just in that situation, you're sort of pulling your hair out as a defender and sort of going, how am I meant to get away with that one? It's just the pace of the ball and the bounce, and LUIISP has been told, he's been told to leave that one off, and that one through three defenders finally gripples the net.
It's excellent work. Again, great comms. SAIZEN says, yo, bro, I got it, though. Commits GOMB, and LUIISP is so quick onto this that even with the solo standard special, as our good friend Damascus would call it, they were able to find the eye of the storm, the perfect placement to avoid all on-rushing cars. Finally, the Mediterranean boys have a lifeline. They got a pulse in game number 2, and with 2 and a bit minutes left to go, still a chance to equalize.
Yes, so can they show that, of course. But again, LUIISP, that's a dangerous idea here. Need a bit more shallower if you're going to play that type of ball here, but it's a poor connection, and that's a wonderful pass. Oh, what a save!
Incredible scenes. It's GOMB again. 1 minute 50, and the pressure ramping up. Bit of a relief on the valve here. REZEARS straight back into the center. LUIISP was looking for something fanciful. REZEARS on the ball, not for the first time in this drive. GOMB goes airborne and gifts possession so quickly. NOAHSAKY rescues it back. REZEARS, that's a free shot! Uh-oh!
You said it's their life, it's their pulse. It's a bit more than a rubber dinghy in the big Atlantic Ocean here. They might actually have a boat here. The only problem is, Relic, do they have an oar to swim to safety? It is within one at last.
Chased by a team that is hastily putting the cannons out on deck. It's going to be rattled. But who's going to be able to deal with the shell shock best? SAIZEN with a demo on HIBBS. They're waiting, they're smart, they're riding the challenges beautifully, are the Mediterranean boys. 60 seconds, still going for demo, still going for bumps, it's GOMB again. A savior medal, a third huge save, both players miss, and GOMB waits this one out. LUIISP back into the center, NOAHSAKY goes midfield, it's REZEARS, the pop-up, REZEARS again, it's a cute angle, oh my goodness, NOAHSAKY with the save.
You'd be seasick if that one went in, but mind you, there is still somebody trying to surf at the end of the back wall here. A shot? No, surely not. A pass, and it's the pop up to the wall here. GOMB, he is just waiting here and just seeing, is the wind going to blow the other direction? It's far from blowing. It's a gale force now. It's just whether they can get away with this one, tipped into it, but possession too cheaply thrown at the other side.
This is no cruise ship. This is the Titanic. It's quickly sinking. Can they plug the holes in time? Is there enough time for the water to roar on in? Well, they're certainly running out of it. Here are the blue team. HIBBS got to spike it, and he does. Survival is 100% the word that we're going to use to describe this one, Danny, but lorry drivers are on the board.
Certainly so. What a... You just had that feeling something was going to come here, and Titanic might be the right word, and being the Irishman, I'll say this, it was fine when it left here. This one, however, might have hit the bottom of the ocean for that feeling. The Mediterranean boys, oh, you have to feel sorry for them to some extent, but you know what's here? This is going to be a tight affair. We had that from the get-go. It's continuing to be so.
Yeah, despite all the nautical puns, all I see is a team that just started this game a little bit late, Danny. I feel like, you know, great credit to the lorry drivers. They were able to really take what was a so-so display and grab this particular game by the scruff of the neck and say, okay, we're going to stamp our authority on it now. But as soon as the Mediterranean boys got going, mechanically, positionally, even in terms of just the base possession, by far and away the better team in that back half, almost able to completely overturn a 3-goal advantage. They are 100% the favourites going into game number 3. The lorry drivers with a lot to do.
Certainly so. It's just a case of can they knot everything together, or who will be the biggest anchor in that particular position here, and it will be NOAHSAKY to at least keep the defensive line atug.
SAIZEN got no support, he's all on his own, and GOMB threads the needle. REZEARS, SAIZEN up early, thrown away, and here's LUIISP to SAIZEN, pop up. Taken out for his troubles. REZEARS goes straight to the backboard, well intercepted by GOMB. Here's looking for NOAHSAKY, and there's that clearance. Massive moment here as they're able to recharge those boost tanks.
What was so good about it was how tight to the wall. If you have a half a pixel or two to the left-hand side, it's an easy clearance. It has been firmly pressed, and this one just tipped on up here. That back wall has been... The Mediterranean boys were best friend in terms of the shooting here, how consistent it's been. But you have to adapt in these type of games here. How much are they willing to test things? And unfortunately, this is shaky ground.
SAIZEN wasn't expecting such a poor touch off the backboard. To be fair, none of us were. NOAHSAKY. REZEARS, that's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but it's a fantastic save to meet it. And a follow-up challenge rode well by HIBBS. REZEARS, again, they're trying to recycle this drive yet again. It's never ending. SAIZEN taking out GOMB now, and HIBBS is on hand to go all the way down the other side of the pitch. They almost snatched a shot out of it. NOAHSAKY scaring the living daylights off the blue team.
Might have also scared you with that reaction, Relic. It is, of course, meant to be Halloween in a few times. It's just a case on who's going to have that goalie expression. Oh, there has been a few oohs and ahs here. Back over to the other side here. That will just be a horrible ball in the grand scheme of things, and that recycling of the play. How good that has been time and time again. It's that consistency factor that has separated these two teams tonight so far.
Barely had a sniff, the lorry drivers, 2 shots in almost half the game. The good news is that the Mediterranean boys, they're kind of overcomplicating things now. A few too many passes in these build-up plays, and GOMB with a demo on LUIISP could allow a rare wander forward. NOAHSAKY, top of the box, actually waits for it, gives it up, and that's a mistake ultimately as REZEARS has pushed it back into the orange half. GOMB prioritizes the 100, stops it somewhat. NOAHSAKY, LUIISP, GOMB goes vertically upwards, 90-degree angle, and drives it into the midfield as best as he can. LUIISP snatches it off the hood of HIBBS. Here's GOMB, again snuffed by REZEARS. NOAHSAKY, SAIZEN lying in wait, got no boost. The best he could do was match whatever HIBBS could do, and it's at least good enough for now, still 0-0.
SAIZEN just at this time propelling the ball upfield here, and that one will sail. Good save, followed by the block here, and it's a rush downfield. If this is the pass, that's excellent. but mind you, HIBBS awareness in the grand scheme of things, just to get below the defender. Everybody's likely to go higher up here, but unfortunately, high might be not the right word. It's just poise between them.
Like a good birthday cake, there is plenty of layers to that move, and it was well dismantled by the lorry drivers. Beat, they keep trucking on over the top of HIBBS here now. NOAHSAKY's been waiting like a ranked champ for that 100 boost, and he just simply didn't appear. HIBBS, manages to weave his way through two, but LUIISP able to scythe through his path, and NOAHSAKY now just lies in wait on the wall, has to retreat to pick up the 100 for himself. SAIZEN backboard, bumps NOAHSAKY out the way. Good readjustment here, keeps it close to the metaphorical chest. REZEARS backboard, SAIZEN, GOMB steamrollers his way through that one, and LUIISP with another pop-up. NOAHSAKY, no real forward momentum, straight to REZEARS. It's SAIZEN, it's all SAIZEN, not quite!
And unfortunately, the lorry's drivers just get their big van in the way and just denied it. Nobody's allowed to get past that motorway. The entrance, the exit, whatever, the slip-off hasn't been given off as LUIISP bumped, bruised in that situation, and GOMB can't even get that one over. Unfortunately, the road to success here has been cracked, but somebody has to take this dangerous travel.
Overtime written all over it. If there is to be a winner, it will surely be the Mediterranean boys. Not when they are so well out of possession. They've got to focus on defense first and foremost now, which they have done. Administrative effort there in the final seconds. Our first overtime in this best of 7. Still a chance, still some hope for the lorry drivers.
Starts off by HIBBS over to GOMB, and that should have been a decent attempt onto the bump, not occurring. And this just being tipped around here. It should be dealt with so easily, but this will be the start of the counter-attack, surely.
Nice use of the pinch mechanic here between GOMB and HIBBS. HIBBS backboard, well read by SAIZEN. NOAHSAKY goes up. A little bit ambitious there from SAIZEN. NOAHSAKY just buying time for the team. It's HIBBS, well dribbled, past SAIZEN. Goes up a little too high for GOMB's liking. The drop down, REZEARS will get there first. HIBBS now, not going to pick up that 100, well into the pocket of LUIISP. GOMB does his best to hold it up. That's SAIZEN! 1-0, 2-1 in the series.
Where did the cat get dragged in here? Frankly, he just moved up so slickily up the pitch. You just were wondering, where did that come from? Even I'm looking at that and sort of going, you fancy him not getting a touch onto that? That's brave.
Perhaps picked up some of the mystical, some of the psychic that you might be able to from one such as Zen, because it really was Mystic Mega Hour there, wasn't it? Able to pre-read where that ball was going to head from the challenge, and there was no hope for whoever was in defense there because it was so perfectly lined up for him. Ultimately, the match winner, the person with the most shots as well, so perhaps no surprise to see SAIZEN breaking the deadlock between the two. As we head into game number 4, it is still only 2-1, and I think the lorry drivers plenty to enjoy there from a defensive standpoint. 10 saves and some fantastic opportunities down the other side of the pitch. On another day, Danny, it could have been them laughing their way into a lead.
Well, thankfully for, of course, the Matana boys, that isn't their day. What has to be given credit, of course, we talked about GOMB being that player. Lorry drivers, in some extent, the other two hasn't stepped up here. It shows the dynamic of the series. We talked about REZEARS in game 1. Now, of course, that has shifted over to SAIZEN. Rightly so, after performance to nick the victory. The question is, who is next? In best of 7s, we talk about distance, we talk about that marathon. This is a long day for the players in the grand scheme of things. This is the final song they could be singing here.
And whoever does win will be singing to the tune of $1,500. A reminder that everybody in the lobby does walk away with something at least, but the gap between the previously mentioned number and $600 is quite wide. And I'm assuming that no player would like to settle for second, even if the gap was a little closer. A closer gap in the scoreline, of course, for game number 3. If you're just joining us, 2-1 lead for the Mediterranean boys, although they had to go to overtime to win 1-0. they've started on the front foot here again, and it's going to be the match winner with the best opportunity so far. Fantastic save via NOAHSAKY, and lovely transition out into the blue half.
Oh, hold on, GOMB with a free jump and a half. If he got that one, I would have been questioning if it really was just AI control at that point. That would have been godly-like.
HIBBS. NOAHSAKY to try again. Got that flip reset. HIBBS with a demo on LUIISP as well. So they're down a player, down a defender. Well managed. HIBBS again. Try your luck. Surely you can't strike twice whilst the iron is hot, and well, maybe perhaps it melted the mold itself, Danny, because that should have been 1-0. I'm surprised, quite frankly, that it isn't.
Shaking my head at that. That's a simple ball by his standards to tuck on in here, but look at that, a few bumps on the other side. Oh, I think we might have just seen the first short circuit of this particular series.
Baffling, absolutely baffling how you could have put that away. Oh, and will that come to bite them now? SAIZEN. LUIISP decides to go a little more sideways, allows REZEARS a chance to survey the situation. HIBBS, no forward momentum. Whoa, lethal! Surveyed the situation and struck like an F-22 Raptor.
What was in that report? I would like a full debriefing, REZEARS. That, mind you, what? They get the power, get the accuracy, and to do it against GOMB. That's the big statement there. He wasn't even expecting that. Big moment in the game already.
And on the Jets. Whoa. And what brilliance from LUIISP to go for a Goomba stomp on the backboard to open up another goal-bound opportunity. Didn't happen, but it's the ingenuity that needs to be praised. SAIZEN with something a little bit more simple. REZEARS the third bite of the cherry. GOMB now riding down the other side. Hits the backboard. No, it doesn't. Only via LUIISP, actually. So it moves away from the orange team as they circle like sharks in the water. But there's no blood here necessarily, because any wounds have been sterilized, and the Mediterranean boys are still looking shipshape.
Thankfully, there's been enough heat to, of course, cauterize that particular force in that particular play. It's just whether the case of can you continue to allow time to heal, as the next 2 minutes will be very much telling here. But what is intriguing, the match has slowed down quite a lot. It was quick pace, a lot of play between the two, and now we've somewhat subdued a bit. Has the rocket fuel finally landed where it should have been? And by that I mean somewhere in Portsmouth, not on the moon.
For a team that's been playing helter-skelter, if you want to go for some seaside fun, perhaps, I think that actually this might suit the Mediterranean boys better. As I say that, of course, LUIISP forced into quite an impressive save there, but they are the ones who have dictated the pace. They have been the ones who've been playing faster, when arguably they've got the better mechanical quality out of the 6 players on the pitch. LUIISP again looking to slow it down, and as long as they can just manage this final minute now, they don't even need to score again, Danny. All they've got to do is not concede, and that's match point scenario for them.
Certainly so. What a lovely time. We could be on the Blackpool Pier and just watch the sunset rise here. The next 40 seconds is, of course, a sweet, delicate dream here, but how romantic would goal number 1 for their opposition be? Unfortunately, there's not a lot of love to be found here.
Yeah, their efforts have very much hit the rocks, so to speak, and not of the sweet variety, unfortunately, for them. Oh, there was nothing sweet about that. Only salt from LUIISP, who removes the last defender.
How dare you? That was full rock as well. God was too busy playing paper or scissors. Unfortunately, folded like, unfortunately, an A4 sheet. That one was unfortunate. Fabulous that was.
Playing at the arcade, you know you're going to lose a bit of money here and there, but it's about the fun at the end of the day, and this team's playing for fun. Another shot across the bow, and the Mediterranean boys are vibing almost with a third. Rockets off the post. That is a very, very good game of Rocket League. from the Mediterranean boys. It's a gentleman's reverse sweep should the lorry drivers hope to pick up first place now.
Oh. Where do we want to pick up this particular game? Where shall we even start here? Because frankly, I think we may want to revisit that arcade, because the effectively wasn't abandoned. It wasn't the bumper cars. It was just straight fun, as you describe it. And we haven't had that for some time with a side to show it against in a very tight match here. But you know what? Lorry drivers, they're putting up a fight here.
What I enjoyed most about the Mediterranean boys is actually, as I said earlier, the fact that they did slow it down. It felt like in games 2 and 3 especially, they were overcomplicating things a couple of times, and that led to lorry drivers being able to craft opportunities of their own on the counter. You could say that they removed the peer pressure off each other. I'm sorry, everyone. And by doing so, they gave themselves a little more freedom, actually, to express themselves. And that, for me, is what has undone the lorry drivers. They've now just got to band together again, try and build off GOMB again, and hope that it's an off day for the Mediterranean boys for, I don't know, another 3 matches or so. How long we got?
Well, that's true here, but I'll throw you one here. Is the Mediterranean boys going to have a calamity at any point?
It's possible. I looked at my non-existent watch on my wrist again, and I don't foresee any problems necessarily, because I felt like they actually grew into that game. And if there's one thing that you want going into a potentially match-deciding game, it's that you're on the ascendancy. It's why if a series ever goes to Game 7, again, I realize it's cliche, but you never want to be the team that loses in Game 6, because you're on the back foot. You've got everything to prove in the ensuing 5 minutes, whatever extra added time you've got. This isn't that situation. The Mediterranean boys, after what was a pretty half and half start from both teams, you didn't really see which way it was going to go until we saw the Mediterranean boys adapt on the fly, switch things up, and really demonstrate what quality they have long term to get 2 goals. They don't need to blow teams away, just get that 1 or 2 goals to cement the win. Oh dear. And it appears that we might very well have lost Mr. Danny Boy, unfortunately, so I'm afraid that you got me for the time being, folks. Is Jam still around? Jam's not still around. We can have a chat. Let's have a chat. Let's see. What are you guys saying? He's gone into hiding. He most certainly has, John. He most certainly has. SAIZEN Masterclass. Gotta say, SAIZEN has been fantastic for my money. I've really enjoyed everything that he's done today. Maybe not been demonstrating the star quality of REZEARS, who's been very much in and amongst all the goals thus far. There's been very rarely a goal that he hasn't been involved in. But it's just those moments like that go-ahead goal where we're thinking, how on earth did he predict that? Those are the questions that are going to be running through the minds of Lorry boys. Hopefully one of my questions now answered. Danny Boy, are you back with us?
I'm certainly back here. Unfortunately, I've been thrown overboard. There was too much excitement and they couldn't contain it. How rude was the crowd here throwing me to the balconies. Unfortunately, I'm not with the fishes. I'm above water at last.
Yeah, I'll throw you a life ring. We'll get you back onto the deck. My son will be okay. And I tell you what, lorry drivers will be okay if they can only put it in the back of the net. Another good opportunity goes a-begging.
And it could, of course, be a case of whether this one is the last chance, the final saloon. This ball has to be planted somewhere into the middle here, but it's been too condensed here at the middle. But that's a fabulous idea. Unfortunately, too close to the net at last.
Oh, good shot from HIBBS, but not good enough. Threatening, but not threatening enough. They've got to make something of this drive, or you fear that the Mediterranean boys are going to do exactly what they did, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, and actually turn up in a big way. SAIZEN on GOMB, into the middle it goes once again. It's LUIISP, snuffs the clearance. GOMB picks up the 100, awkward positioning, does with it what he can, I should say. SAIZEN, and there's no luck here for REZEARS.
Not yet, but here's that one's on target, off the post, and that will do.
It's all HIBBS. It's all HIBBS. Okay, driven to the center by GOMB, but HIBBS commits 2 players, kind of fumbles the ball, almost intentionally setting up for NOAHSAKY there to put it away. Lorry drivers, there's one.
It won't be the last one. That is almost near enough a certainty in this type of matchup as well too. The lorry drivers have to, I would say, score a second one if they want to feel safe, but that's a good save, and this is a scramble. How do you like your eggs, Relic?
Well, I'm sure that if I was the Mediterranean boys, I'd like it poached, but they, unfortunately, they couldn't poach a goal out of that particular scenario as close to the net as they were. Not the catch of the day, but maybe, just maybe, if they show a little bit more patience, they'll have something prime to put on the table. What a great boomer stomp. But there's a demo follow-up here. REZEARS, that's gorgeous. Oh, it's even better from LUIISP and HIBBS, who equals that shot with a brilliant save, but not, I mean, the pressure was unrelenting. Couldn't have put it better myself, Danny. There was another goal in this. It was a certainty.
Well, certainly. There was no argument at all. But unfortunately, there is a dispute on that pitch here between those two sides here. What is the real question is, at what point is the lorry drivers going to hold that defensive line? Are they going to eventually not double commit here? Because that's the way it looked like.
Is HIBBS. And then NOAHSAKY, the support gunner. REZEARS backflips, lovely shot, bit wide, follow-up shot, well placed. This is so intelligent. It's a rarity, honestly, in the game, Danny, where you see something broken apart and then he can shoot anywhere and score. HIBBS deliberately goes near post, knowing that everyone's expecting him to go far post, expecting that shot with more power. Smart, intelligent play. Go-ahead goal yet again.
Well, I saw that earlier today with Jam and myself. Tokyo over the badness, not to spoil the play itself, but it was excellently well worked here. And that's a decent tip around by GOMB to say the least here, but unfortunately, is there enough to get away with it? Unfortunately, I think REZEARS will get there in time.
A more disjointed a game then. Demos have definitely become favoured amongst both teams looking for that opportunity to break open the defense without having to think too hard. NOAHSAKY, all he wants to do is bring it downfield, and he does so with some success. HIBBS, REZEARS wins this challenge. LUIISP, it's meandering, not really with direction. And it all comes to a standstill. That will suit the lorry drivers just fine. Oh, especially if they can score! Oh!
Oh, that would have been the potency that you're looking, but this is the other end. Somebody should be flying up to this one, and GOMB's actually may have touched it in the wrong spot, but glitz away with it. Was watching the particular series with a few of the other bubble players at the scene here, Relic, and somebody pointed out how good his recovery was. That's a case in point.
Lorry drivers are living blessed lives. I don't know what gods they pray to, but please sign me up. So many shots. Listen, I've already signed up to that particular church of prayer, but yeah, I cannot believe how much they've gotten away with in just that 30-second period. Double commits galore, and yet it remains 2-1 the score. Just 20 seconds, sub that left. LUIISP dances round one into the center. SAIZEN uses the backboard. REZEARS, oh my goodness, someone shoot at the net, please.
It's not often you hear a Swansea fan say that sentence. Oh wait, they won't say it quite regularly enough here, as lorry drivers might just be glad here that unfortunately it's the lack of will. Are you willing to push that extra step? Are you willing to say, I want the ball? Winners want it, loser hands it off usually. Unfortunately, they've lost it there.
Why didn't they shoot, Danny? I mean, am I crazy in thinking that all SAIZEN had to do was not go for the backboard pass to himself or someone else, and then REZEARS passing into Nova? It's baffling. But what could be even more baffling, perhaps, is that both of us could be wrong on the prediction front. I'm wrong with it finishing in a game 5. If Mediterranean boys win here, then we're both wrong because you predicted a game 7.
Yeah, how dare I get my prediction wrong with these players playing so well.
Point taken. Point taken. It's game 5. Wait, no. It's game 6.
No.
Relic is complete. I'm lost now. I've suffered a bit of water torture, honestly.
Here, you were the one that was throwing water side on the other series there.
Yeah.
Oh. Do we need to sort of relax, put ourselves on the beach, get a nice sunshade, and get a tan here, and while these players do battle, or shall we join them in the slippery slope that this has been?
Oh, take me back to Hastings. Take me to the marina. You know, where the sea is calm and where the seagulls are causing all sorts of chaos, and our birds are frenzied on the pitch for a potentially final time yet again. First life down for Mediterranean boys. 2 more to go. They remain in match point control. But they need an opening goal to settle themselves down, perhaps. Lorry drivers under pressure early doors. But HIBBS has done well here and utilises the top of the box to his advantage.
Unfortunately, nobody's decided to sort of flock towards that one here. It'll be a case of dipping their heads into the sand here. Unfortunately, we would need sort of a massive sort of flamingo, a full frontage on show here, but that is not the touch he wanted. Hadamans hit soft like a feather. Unfortunately, he hit that with the subtlety of a brick.
LUIISP still on the scene, but ultimately just gives it back to those lorry drivers who are awaiting any chink in the armor to stab at. NOAHSAKY, great bump. Great adjustment from SAIZEN to get back into a position, not just to save it, but to take it all the way down the other side of the pitch. Gets the shot too. That's the quality that they're looking to avoid, the lorry drivers.
Oh, this is good though, and you have to give credit as well for a second ago. GOMB was potentially getting the bump to stopping it, now scoring. He was almost like a light switch. He's on, he's off, he's on, he's off, whether defensively or attacking. But will it be a pass into the middle, or he goes alone here, and that's a poor ball in the delivery that he needed to get into the box.
SAIZEN and REZEARS with the flick onwards. Follows it. Not for too much longer. Well managed here by GOMB. And LUIISP runs straight into the path of HIBBS. A 180 from GOMB. Got 100 boost as well, so potentially good attack. Nope. It's as quickly as I was saying it. It was thrown into the bin. HIBBS again.
How big is your bin?
Oh, I get like the jumbo bags. So it's pretty big.
I've got a small desk one.
I mean, they're good for like bits of paper that you need to throw away, but do you buy 2-litre bottles of sparkling drink?
I don't buy sparkling water, it's just champagne. I'm too busy winning Relic.
Well, to be fair, sparkling, not exactly a word that I would use for either of these sides in game number 6 so far. There's been a couple of flashes, but nothing particularly persistent, certainly not to the level that we saw from the sieges that the Mediterranean boys were putting together earlier on in this series. Still 0-0 as things stand. It's a game which neither team wants to lose, Danny, very literally.
Certainly so. It's just who gets onto that podium and able to celebrate by the end of it. That's what they eventually would like to have here, that relief. That's our idea here. This is certainly a relief for, of course, the lorry drivers. One idea, unfortunately not the secondary touch here, just the cruelty at the bounce here. And what has certainly changed is this idea of space at the game. The final third has been pretty much here left to one man all the time here. Somebody's got to drop back here.
That's fine. NOAHSAKY, 1v1, past SAIZEN, he goes a little too wide. GOMB unfortunately misses it, was worried about running into LUIISP and the resulting ricochet ultimately servicing their opponents. GOMB again, and gets a second touch. Wow, completely deceived SAIZEN. LUIISP, oh, they were looking for the bump, weren't they? Didn't get the bump. Slippery squirrel is LUIISP. But much better from the lorry drivers. Obviously one of the most sustained assaults that we've seen all game. And still, no goals until maybe now. Oh, LUIISP again.
Oh, the pass though is even more exquisite.
This was all fair and well, but SAIZEN throws it straight back to GOMB. Talent, or a lack thereof. We know that SAIZEN is better than that, Danny. 1-0.
You just even in those situations, you have to be aware, alert to even pick up in the situation. That was excellent play here. That should be goal, maybe number 2, but the attack, as you said, it hasn't been toothless. It is just the case that they just haven't got the break, the rub at the green. They finally do so.
Well, the lawnmower is out, and its name is Game 7, unless there is a moment of magnificence from the Mediterranean boys. Not on this occasion.
What a final we have. And you just sit there and look at it and you're sort of going, is there a miracle? Is there hope? You don't need it when you have talent, as you rightly say. There was maybe one moment of a lack of it. Far from it here in the series when we look at the grand scheme of forward. But I like these sort of analogies. We've reached the end game. Relic, who has the final few pieces to get this win?
You'd have to say the lorry drivers at this stage, wouldn't you? The Mediterranean boys just seem to have run out of ideas. They've flicked through the guidebook, and it feels like they've come to the end. Start a book anew, or wait for the author to come out with some new material. Well, whatever their choice might be, they are on the back foot going into Game 7. We touched upon it earlier. You never want to be in that scenario. Lorry drivers know how to kill the game's pace, how to manipulate it to their own desires.
Unfortunately, love may play a factor and be fickle. Sometimes you just got to realize that these games are won and lost by the decision and how quickly can you do it. They might fancy the passing play, they might fancy the solo play, but can they trust their guts here to make the right decision? And so far here, both sides are just playing the giveaway game.
GOMB goes up. It's a good save from SAIZEN. The one to make said mistake that led to the breakthrough for game number 6. Here he is again. He has been a game winner previously and almost there gets the go-ahead. But for GOMB, and HIBBS now rushes down the other side, steals the 100 in support. It's GOMB who wins a challenge against 2 and brings his team into the lead.
I think lorry drivers might not be the right one. It could be Sir GOMB. What a challenge. Knighted that one. Fenced off what needed to be a clean challenge and breaks into the hearts and minds here of their oppositions. They have to be Steely Eye Hill, and SAIZEN, well, he has been here before. He knows how to sneak a win or two.
Might only be 2 of us on the casting desk, so to speak. But in this roundtable discussion, we're all looking at GOMB and HIBBS and NOAHSAKY. They draw their swords, they place it in the center, and they say, we are here to be counted as well.
And it might be Sir Arthur's table, essentially so. And unfortunately, we might have to rename it to GOMB's table. He's ran it, he's ruled it. It's his kingdom to lose now.
Lions' share of the game still to go there. Still could be a Camelot of goals yet to arrive. SAIZEN, oh, that's a miss. It's a huge miss, but LUIISP won't miss. 2-1.
Here's the castle being finally raided here. The mortar and brick has been broken, shattered, and it's unfortunately a trench through the watery mud here to get themselves back up. Now, the next minute or 2, can you settle the nerves and eventually have that final charge? That's what the Mediterranean boys have to do if they want to tie the game up.
The tension, the anticipation shattered. It's all out warfare. Save from NOAHSAKY. What a pinch from NOAHSAKY. It falls down, but SAIZEN throws it midfield bound. Here's REZEARS with the follow-up. No joy. LUIISP choosing actually the safe option to go back to SAIZEN. I'd say the right one, but his first touch isn't successful. Double commit on the backboard. Goes straight back to HIBBS. The pop-up, looking for that pinch himself. But all he's doing now is buying time for his team. They set up well enough. It goes back into the orange half, but the boost is in their favor.
Oh, is it? There is not enough food left here. Starvation is the problem. So is the positional of your knights to protect you. There is unfortunately a new potential challenger to the throne.
That's a proper slicer from LUIISP. That was a hard shot to make. And he nailed it like a carpenter in his prime. It's all turned around. Lorry drivers, the ascendancy that they were enjoying, been stopped in its tracks, shot too high, past central, a demo as well. It was 3v1 potentially if they were willing to risk it, the Mediterranean boys.
It is level and the spirit is high here, but if you have the tools to, of course, make that craft, that's what you need to do here. It's GOMB. One pass into the middle here. It is HIBBS. It is oh no indeed, but it's oh no for, of course, the Mediterranean boys. They're not happy. They get the defensive touch here, and we do see symmetry on that scoreboard at the timer too. 2-0. And frankly, 2-0 on the other side. It's now eventually a case of who blinks first.
A lot of gambling here. There's a lot of thoughts that maybe are not so well thumped through. SAIZEN. Here's REZEARS, picks up the pieces, drives through the middle, goes central. There's a bit too much on that one, perhaps a little too hasty in the counter-attacking play. LUIISP has been excellent at the back. Been setting everything up for his two teammates, and NOAHSAKY might just help set up LUIISP here. Has the 100, bumped out the way. GOMB, it's on the backboard. NOAHSAKY misses that touch, but HIBBS gets a piece of it.
You have a 30 bits for your thoughts here. It is going to the wire quite literally as this ball just been thrown around here, and REZEARS not backing away here. You talk about particularly game-changing moments here. Both sides here are allowing the midfield to be used as that catapult. The only problem is who's willing to say fire?
Oh! Almost on key, almost on note, but we've still got a melody to sing, and LUIISP has thrown a discordant tone into the mix. It flies away into the orange half. LUIISP, NOAHSAKY gets there first. SAIZEN with 100 boost in his tank. That's a cute touch. The run straight into the front of NOAHSAKY. 30 seconds left, folks. It's on your screens.
Certainly so. Here on the Rocket, this is the Rendez-Vous. The tournament Sonics has kindly put on for us week in, week out. They do it. We have it here, and there is a pop into the middle. 10 odd seconds, and the defensive double come in. It could be. It shall be. It's Rise, Sir HIBBS.
REZEARS out to play. SAIZEN ambitious. LUIISP just flat out whiffs. HIBBS can't believe his luck. 3-2, 10 seconds. How's your nerves, lorry drivers?
Oh, they're faking it. They're trying to go for it. Oh, how deadly, how costly this could be. It's off the post.
Has that chance gone? NOAHSAKY, SAIZEN, they just got to spike it, and it's hit the floor. Lorry drivers with the gentleman's reverse sweep. Lost one. Lost 3 in a row. And they win 3 in a row themselves to win in the grand finals of Rendez-Vous number 5. And I'm glad all of you were here to rendezvous with us, because wow, after a pretty deadpan semi-final, we were treated there, Danny.
I said 7.
You did say 7. You nailed it.
And that wasn't just a meal. That was a banquet. That was a full-on feast here that you've filled your stomach. And unfortunately, Relic, I'm greedy. A sin itself here. I wanted more here. Why does it have to stop?
Well, the good news is technically it does. I mean, it does for today. Look, we've got to go home. We've got to rest. We've got to regret our life choices for eating so much food. But we've still got 3 wonderful meals to enjoy, everybody. Rendezvous. Trying to remember my French and the specifics of that. 6, 7, and 8 next week, the week after, and the week after that. It really is that simple. Same time, same places here on the Rocket RB and over at Rocket Baguette. Before we leave and love you, or love and leave you, as you know, as probably is the correct way to put it. How can I leave and I get too confused? But there's no confusion about how the bracket, I should say, unfolded here today, Danny. Lorry drivers, Mediterranean boys, head and shoulders above the rest, and it showed really in that grand final where they went toe to toe with each other.
It shows you what the right team, the right chemistry does for a team, and have that star quality. We talked quite a lot about REZEARS, GOMB. All 6 of them had their key moment, that sort of ambition to show what they have got, and that's what we do it for. The others who have played here, they played well. And unfortunately, it's, you said it earlier in that semi-final, it's just that quality, the next step up. That's what you have to reach. That's what you have to find. It's just a question of, can they do it next time?
And that's exactly what these tournaments are for. We do love that the bubble scene is well and truly back, and we hope that you join whoever is going to be here next time. But let's thank who was here this time first and foremost. Kaz on community, John on moderation, the wonderful Paul Shepherd bringing you all of the pretty pictures. We had Jar of Jam earlier. Of course, I had Danny Boy alongside me for the grand finals. I've just been Relic. It's been a pleasure, folks. Please, please, please remember to follow if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're feeling fanciful. And from all of us here at the Rocket RB, it's a very warm goodbye.